US President Donald Trump meets with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Helsinki, Finland. Just what was achieved during this high-level talk? Hello, I'm Anand Naidu, and this is The Heat. The American and Russian presidents met for about 2 hours at the Finnish Presidential Palace in Helsinki. Both leaders acknowledged the need to improve relations and addressed a range of issues, including the Iranian nuclear deal, Syria's civil war, and the US presidential election. CGTN's Nathan King begins our coverage from Helsinki. And Nathan, there was a lot of speculation going into these talks, but what exactly was accomplished?
Yeah, well, as you know, both Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, and US President Donald Trump want to put the ghosts of the Cold War behind them. But as you mentioned in your intro there are so many things that divide US and Russian interests. The Syrian civil war, the annexation of Crimea, the division of Ukraine, the sanctions that the US has imposed, the Iran nuclear deal, Iran in Syria, arms control. I could go on and on and on. And while they talked for 2 hours and 10 minutes, little progress was made on those, and overhanging this whole summit, of course, was the Russia investigation into possible interference by Russia in the 2016 presidential election and possible collusion by the Trump campaign. But both men still vowed that they want to bury the ghost of the Cold War and forge a new relationship. Let's have a listen to both of them.
It is obvious to everyone that our bilateral relations are going through a difficult period. But these difficulties and tense atmosphere have no objective grounds. The Cold War is long over.
The disagreements between our two countries are well known, and President Putin and I discussed them at length today. But if we're going to solve many of the problems facing our world, then we're going to have to find ways to cooperate in pursuit of shared interests.
So basically, US President Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin ready to move on, but the US certainly is not. In pointed questions at the US President from the US press, basically saying, do you believe your own intelligence agencies when it comes to, remember, there were 12 indictments in the last few days of Russian intelligence officers accused of messing in the 2016 election. Do you believe them? He was asked, or do you believe Vladimir Putin? And Trump essentially said Vladimir Putin, and the reaction has been very, very strong, both political enemies and allies in the United States. So it's difficult to see, with that sort of poisonous atmosphere in Washington, D.C., and the lack of any deals on the things that divide them here at the summit, how it could go forward. One thing US President Donald Trump said is this is a start, this meeting here in Helsinki, and they will meet more regularly. But considering the criticism he's getting as he jets back home, it's going to be very difficult. And some of his political advisors are even saying it shouldn't have happened at all.
Thanks, Nathan. That's CGTN's Nathan King reporting from Helsinki.